we're finally back after 8 months of literally nothing. We are finally back. Episode 100. And we've been talking for months about what 100 is going to be and what kind of big deal can we make 100 into. And we've had some lofty goals. And we said, you know what? Let's just have one of our favorite people.
We had to have the right guest on for 100.
Correct.
Dude, I didn't even know that. What a letdown. I apologize.
So we said, let's call on the best man we know, Mr. Ben Williams. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. Thank y'all for having me. I literally didn't know this was episode 100. It makes my heart very warm.
It's one of those things for everybody who didn't go back and listen to the first episode that we had with Ben. There's something special about our friendship with Ben. First of all, we're friends outside of just doing this show. We spent time together. We've been to an Avs game. Ben calls me on a Saturday morning at 8:30 to talk about charts. So it happens.
We have a Nashville hang coming up too.
We do. When our own Sean Patrick hosts the Opry in November, Ben will be there, which is going to be awesome. It's funny because I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but the first time we met was at the Covenant round that we did for the Covenant school shooting fundraiser with the team at Big Loud.
Yeah.
And you and I met in passing in the bar, and I introduced myself, and you said, "No way, I love your guys' podcast."
Yes.
And I was like, "You're full of crap." And you were like, "No, literally, I'm a fan of you guys." And I said, "Well, if you're a fan, then we absolutely have to have you on." And then we've hung and we're all friends now. And so it's even better. So we had to call on you for episode 100.
Dude, I remember that show so well. And one of the biggest things I remembered, obviously, and by the way, thank you for having me. That's so nice. But I remember passing you, and for real, I mean, I've been listening to this podcast since you guys really started it, because you know how obsessed I am with songwriting. But there's a couple things I remember about that show. I remember walking by and talking to you. I remember playing Hair Salon, because I don't play Hair Salon that much. And I remember hanging with Gorley for really the first time in the back, and him looking up lyrics to songs and then being like, "Hey, what should I play? Like, what should I play?" And I was like, "Bro, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen." Like,
didn't he tell you he was going to play Tennessee Orange just to mess with you?
He did. And that was at the time where that was like, I was like, "Bro, I have nothing else to play. You better not play that. You have 85 to choose from."
And then he played Heads Carolina, and I didn't recognize it right out of the gate. It took me like almost to the chorus before I'm like, "Oh my God, he's playing She Had Me at Heads Carolina." So that was a little disappointing.
Wasn't that at the local too? Like that little spot?
It was. Cool. Yeah. And it was cool because everybody was hanging, and it's like all of Nashville, and we're there, and we're meeting people that we just know through the internet, and we're having a good time. And then all of a sudden Ashley walks in the door, and as soon as Ashley walked in the door, like the whole vibe of the place changed.
For sure. He has that, dude. I mean, it's like it's the GOAT, you know? When the GOAT walks in, the GOAT is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask, how's married life? You married famous superstar Bella Hudson, Colorado native. How was the wedding? How's married life?
1 month ago, out in Colorado. It was, dude, it's so awesome. Such a blessing. We're planning our honeymoon right now. To be honest, I've slacked a little on the honeymoon planning. Caught a little flack for it more than one. Third or fourth time, I was like, I gotta plan this thing. So I'm planning it. We're gonna go on like a river cruise sort of thing. Even though she gets seasick, apparently you can't get seasick on the river. And I don't like flying, so to wake up in a country on a cruise every day instead of flying in between them, I think I'm gonna be cool with.
What's the deal with flying? Why do you not like flying?
No, I'm so scared of flying. Like,
really?
It's part of just being trapped in the tube. It's part of being up in the air, turbulence, strangers, like unwanted strangers, flatulence. Like, there's a lot of reasons.
I hate the guy who sits next to you and wants to have a conversation. I'm like,
dude,
I need to tell you what I do.
Brought sushi on the plane.
Oh no, hard pass. Nope, I'm good. Nope. Hard pass. I mean, I'm all good with snacks, but sushi on the plane? No way.
No way, dude. Or tuna? Like, my mom would totally bring tuna on a plane.
So you've had quite the last 6 months to a year. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
say 6 months later.
Yeah.
Man, I want to get into the Kenny Chesney stuff, but I can't go anywhere without hearing 6 months later right now. Like, I know last time you were on, we talked about your relationship with Megan, but as that continues to grow and as she goes from like your friend that you guys write with to massive superstar who is
Right.
selling out everywhere she goes and people are waiting, like, what is that like to see your friend just like explode like that?
Dude, it's that what a well structured question. The best word that I could answer it with is it's surreal. Like it still doesn't even seem real because she is so down to earth and just like I mean, we were texting 2 days ago and with Logan Crosby, who's one of our other friends, and she's sending pictures in a skincare mask. Like we're just joking around. And then all of a sudden she posts on Instagram like today, literally 20,000 people at the rodeo screaming every word to 6 months later. And just like I mean, I remember when we were starting to write this record, we were at Taco Bell down in PCB because we love Taco Bell. And literally we're like walking through the parking lot with Mike and Mackenzie Carpenter and Meg is singing the song we just wrote. And I actually think it's this song that is maybe going to be the biggest song we've ever had. We just got some news about it the other day. I can't say anything about it, but just know there's something in the Megan world coming that is unbelievable. Everything that's coming is unbelievable too. But anyways, she was like singing a song in the parking lot, and as we're going through the parking lot, somebody in the drive-through goes, "Is that Megan Maroney? Are you Megan Maroney?" And we're literally walking in the parking lot. And then they like jump out of the car, just craziness like that. But it's so cool because she handles it so well. She was meant to be the star that she is. I think if she wasn't, it would be different. But she's meant for this spotlight and she wears it so well.
Well, and it's crazy too because, and you can probably attest to this, it seems like as her team gets bigger and her road family gets bigger, she still takes the time to stop down, go to Taco Bell and PCB, and write with the exact same crew that you guys have had the entire time from before Tennessee Orange to now 2 times platinum Tennessee Orange.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. And it was funny. The only reason is because she just got a plaque for Tennessee's 4 times, by the way. I didn't even know
4
that
times.
till I saw Meg.
That's
She got
insane.
this massive plaque. I want to put it somewhere over here. But dude, it's just the coolest thing. And again, it's a testament to the sort of artist and friend and creator she is. You know, that was one thing early on that we thought about was like when this really takes off, which it is, you know, what is that going to look like? Is it going to look like, you know, outsourcing more songs? Is it going to look like sticking to our program? And that's really exactly what we've done. And we try to, you know, mold it so it's not always the same sound or the same vibe, but really we never have really tried specifically. We've always done the same thing as day one, and that's just trying to write the most clever, fun song that you're either going to smile when you hear on the radio, cry, or it's going to make you feel something, the songwriting. And like we've never really aimed for a specific shift. We are just trying to still write the best song, just with the most clever hook or the most hooky melody. And, you know, thank goodness that she's kept the same camp.
What's it like when you still see the videos of 50 to 70,000 fans singing Tennessee Orange? I mean, that's your first number one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still got to give you goosebumps.
Oh, for sure, dude. Like, and we talk about that song too all the time because it's been 2 full years now since that song. And I think too at the time, like, you know, we were so young. Like, I mean, I was 24 when that song came out, 23 when we wrote it, 24 really when it became a hit. And so I think we didn't realize really how big it was. I mean, and now like we have, I don't even know like between me and Meg how many gold and platinum records we have together now, but that's the song. And I think it will always maybe be the song. I don't know, 6 months is going to be massive, but like when I'm on the golf course with people and they want to talk about music or bring it up, they'll be like, he wrote Tennessee Orange. Like that's the thing where it's just like, I don't know. That might just be the thing forever. And to your question about watching the videos, watching any of her songs and the people screaming it back, it never gets old. It's the coolest thing ever, and especially going to her shows. And you guys will be going too when she's in Denver. But like you can't hear yourself think. That's how loud the audience is singing every word to every song. I mean, it's not even just Tennessee. I mean, it's Mama I Lied. It's Break It Right Back. It's every deep cut. It's I Know You. It's like, it's unbelievable. And those videos are really a testament to her fan base too. I mean, that is a loyal, amazing, young, smart fan base. And, you know, we're so thankful to have them.
Yeah, the other day I went and saw Ty Myers, and I took my sister, who it was her 18th birthday present from me, and she got to do the actual radio thing, and that is her favorite artist besides Meg.
That's awesome.
And she got to go to the green room and say hello. But it was funny because we were walking to the green room, and before, all of a sudden, I'm Not Okay came on, and they played that in Tennessee Orange back to back in a sold out crowd. In between bands, and you would have thought that she was on stage with how loud they sang, and to play back to back Megan songs in a pre-show and them still sing every single word like she was standing up on that stage with 5,000 people was crazy to me.
It's crazy. I think Hudson, one of my best friends, Bo Bailey, writes a lot of the Hudson Westbrook stuff, and he told me, or he sent me a video the other day of Hudson playing Indifferent. I guess he plays Indifferent in his set. And just the people, even at a Hudson Westbrook show, you can't hear him. They're singing Indifferent so loud. I mean, it's like this massive wave. And it is just the coolest, most special thing for me as just a kid who wants to write songs, to watch it affect a generation. I mean, like, I literally can't like thank them enough or feel lucky enough to be a part of it, dude. It's literally just like I have goosebumps talking about it. It's the coolest thing ever. And like I get lost in the charts and I call you Brailey and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I'll walk in Walmart and hear, or Buc-ee's actually one time, and hear Sleep on My Side. And I'm like, what is even happening? You know?
What do you do when you walk into Buc-ee's and you hear one of your songs? Do you tell everyone, I wrote that?
No, I take a video and I immediately put it in my family group chat.
Okay, I like it.
We love when we're
And
at
I said
shows.
it to Meg, obviously, but
We love when we're at shows, or even just like in public. Like Kev and I were somewhere the other day with my wife, and I think we were just like eating dinner or something, and it was like one of your songs, a Hunter Phelps song, another song from our friends, and we're like, are we just playing our friends?
We just
like
keep counting.
literally just all of our friends.
Because y'all are the boys, dude.
It's so funny. And for us, like, I love to see it. And, you know, when Meg came to Frontier Days, we saw the videos of people rushing in. And I've been to Frontier. I mean, I've seen McGraw at Frontier Days. Wow. I've seen everybody at Frontier Days. And I've never seen a crowd rush so fast through the dirt to get in front to see her. And then I saw a video of Tennessee Orange, and I was like, man, I'm, like, as a friend, I'm like, I'm so proud.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like, in Tennessee, like now, even too, like, it was funny because somebody actually asked me about this yesterday or today, because she posted a new video of her playing 6 months later or something, and just everybody screaming. And I remember specifically 2 years ago, her playing us. I forget what it was called, but it was the festival in Sacramento. And I remember, yes. And I remember her being on the Cowhide stage. I just remember the post. And the whole audience like really singing that song. And it was like right when it was becoming a hit. And when I saw that video this morning of them singing 6 months later, it was almost even, no joke, like louder than when I remember seeing Tennessee. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is it happening again? Like, what is this? This is awesome. I was just freaking out.
See, I was talking to somebody in the country music world recently, and I kind of made this reference that what Megan's doing kind of reminds me, as well as her fan base, kind of like the Eric Church crowd. Yeah. I kind of feel like she's the female version of Eric Church from a songwriting standpoint. Does that kind of make sense, or am I kind of off on that?
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, it totally makes sense. She's totally Eric Church vibes. And to me, even like, you know, this also being her being such a big fan, it's also like early days Taylor Swift too, because the Meg is so smart when it comes to writing which lines are going to provoke which response. Which little egg in the video is going to get noticed. She really communicates with her fans, and like that reminds me a lot of the Taylor Swift stuff too. But just same with Eric Church. But she's so like, even I'll just, since we were kind of talking about the song too, like 6 months later, like how the turns have tabled, top of the second verse. Like that to us is just, we know the fans are going to go crazy for that because it's a little fun twist after the hook. It's something you can hold on to. And like, it's just all wrapped into one thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys get ready to write that one,
yeah,
was that a title that was brought by her? Was it Mackenzie or you, or who threw that out? And how did that whole thing come about? Because, when we talked about Tennessee Orange, they were, like you just said, there's specific things that you guys crafted towards that. Now knowing like, okay, we've had a lot of success with this group. What can we do that's just a little bit different? How did that all come to play? And then to see it take off the way it has.
Yeah. So 6 months later is a different group than Jimmy James, than Mackenzie and Micah. So
Okay.
I wrote You'd Had to Be There, the Kenny song with Mackenzie and Micah. And 6 months later, we go on this amazing boat every year to basically begin the album or start working on the album. And we go on that trip with a guy named David Meskin. He goes by Messy. He's unreal. And a big songwriter named Rob Hatch. If you guys know Rob wrote I Don't Dance, If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away, Goodnight Kiss, some jams. And so it was kind of, I forget what day of the trip it was, but it was probably like the third or fourth day, and we hadn't written anything yet because I had just come off of a retreat with Meg and Mike and Mackenzie, and we'd written like 6 songs. And so we just didn't really know what was next. And then all of a sudden we like got to drinking a little bit, and she was like, I have this idea. And I forget where she heard it or saw it or something, but she was like, like the phrase, like, what doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. She was like, what if we flipped it to like, what doesn't kill you calls you 6 months later? I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And so the first night, normally when we write, like, we'll write it in an hour or 2 hours max. Like that's how each song is like You Had to Be There was like 45 minutes. Like 6 months later, we didn't write really anything the first night. We were like sitting around on this couch, and Messy started playing this loop and playing that pretty similar synth hook that you hear now. And we just were singing the melody, just a da na na da na 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 na, just like doing a lot of that. And then I just remember trying to get to that hook and being like, what rhymes with later? It's such a weird rhyme. And then I was like, we were like, a little too late to the party, heartbreaker. We were like, heartbreaker is a cool rhyme. And that was the whole lyric that we wrote that night. That was literally it. And we were like, let's just go to bed because we don't really write like our best songs drinking. At least I don't. And so we went to bed and woke up the next morning like pretty early, and we just started grinding on it. And we were like, well, what if we play into the word like kills? Because like what doesn't kill you calls you 6 months later. So like what if what doesn't kill you, so he didn't kill you, but he almost killed you. So what if the first verse is about that word? So that's when it was like, let me set you the scene. November, blah, blah, blah. Out of 6 feet deep. I was 5, like the almost dead. Like the Hearst thing. Like that was all because of that phrase. And it was funny. We literally didn't even know how to spell Hearst. We thought it was Hearst. And I had to like teach everybody that when you get buried, that it's 6 feet deep. And so we were like, it was funny.
Nobody's listening to Creed or what?
Dude, literally. And we were just like puzzle piecing that together. And then we wrote the second verse right then and there too. And I didn't know that the turns of tabled was an Office reference. I had no idea. I was just like, I just think it's funny. And I thought the able rhyme was really hooky. And that was really it. Oh, second verse. We had gotten to how the turns have tabled. All of a sudden now you're willing and able. Little therapy and now you're so stable. And then Meg had a call or something, but she left the studio that we were writing in. And I was like, dude, this song is a smash. Like, if we don't finish this right now, like, I was like, we got to finish this. So anyways, I'm just sitting there and trying to figure out how to wrap up this second verse. And I swear I literally was like, A little therapy, nice, so stay well. And then I went, okay, well, just me. Your next girlfriend will be so lucky, like by myself. And Meg comes back up the stairs, and I go, hey, you're either going to hate this or you're going to love it. And then she was like, I love that. And then, boom, we were off to the races. And then right after that, we wrote the bridge, which I thought was amazing. I'm pretty sure she was like, well, let's bring back the original saying at the top of the bridge, which was what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then it just flew out to go blonder and hotter. And then, boom. And literally now when I play it in shows, because I just started playing it in shows, right before I get to the bridge, if anybody comes and sees me play Songwriter Round, I think I'm always going to do this. Right before the bridge, I go, and I wrote this bridge about my personal life. And then I go, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and blonder and hot. And people just lose their mind.
You probably have the best performances at Writers Round. There's no doubt.
Dude, I always open with I'm not pretty just so they know what's coming.
That's my favorite part when you go, I'm going to sing some girl songs like a girl, but as you can tell, I'm not a girl.
Dude, I'm like, you guys are in for a treat tonight because you've heard these songs before, but you have not heard them coming from me.
It is really funny to watch you sing specific lyrics in Meg songs up there with like other people, like especially in like the rounds that I've seen you in, where it's like you and all these Morgan writers, and they're like singing 615 and Tennessee numbers, and you're like singing Megan songs, and it's like this awkward juxtaposition of like, are we singing at each other? Are we not? Are we diving into the drama? Like, dude, what is happening?
Me and Rocky Block and Grady Block, two of my good buddies, we played last weekend. And Rocky was on one end, Grady was in the middle, and I was on the other end. And literally, Rocky would go, Morgan song, I'd go Megan song, Morgan song, Megan song, Morgan song, Megan song. We played two other hits we've had on somebody else. Morgan song, Megan song. And I was like, do these fans realize they're at the best show ever right now?
Oh, yeah. And you know, it's funny. I got taken out by all the Megan haters. I forgot to tell you this. What? There was, when 6 months later was blowing up on TikTok, somebody was like, oh, well, you know that this line is based on this line from this Morgan song. And I was like, hey, you know that like two of my friends wrote both of these songs, and I can tell you if you listen to our podcast that neither of them are about each other. And they're like,
let me just confirm right now for all the haters. 6 months later is just a song. I'm sorry, guys. It's not about Morgan. At least from my perspective, it's not.
Are you sure you were not singing about Morgan Wallen when you were writing these songs?
I'm pretty sure.
And now we have our first viral clip right here.
Yeah.
Breaking news, we got it confirmed right here. I do want to ask you about Morgan. I do want to ask you though, on a more serious note, if we ever get serious on this show, when you're writing a song, you said it takes about 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours when you guys are really writing. Have you ever gotten to a point where it's like 2.5, 3 hours and you're like, I just don't think this song is going to work? And do you just kind of scrap it? Or do you get to a point where like, I don't think it's going to work, but we have to finish it?
With Meg specifically or just in general?
Let's just go in general.
In general, I feel like I know within the first 45 minutes whether or not it's going to be good. And that's kind of even when we're doing Meg songs too. Like I won't go more than an hour if I'm like, this doesn't feel like it could at least be something, you know? So
is it a hard point to be in where you're like, it's just not going?
Yeah, it's just like, but the thing is that, to be honest, like, and this is just the truth. I'm not trying to sound like I know what I'm doing or anything, because I really don't know what I'm doing. But like, I would say like 3 or 4 years ago, if we were 45 minutes on an idea and it wasn't working, it kind of killed the vibe of my day to where I'm like, I'm just kind of done writing. But now if we're not there in 45 minutes, I feel like I can pick up another song immediately right after that. And it's almost like we just did a little trial run and all good. And sometimes the second song that we try is 100 times better than the initial idea we started with anyways. So that's really changed throughout the duration of my career, where now I feel like it's almost like and I say like me, like I have, but also I feel like the crew of writers that have all grown into the next class of hit writers is like, I feel like we've all gotten better at that. Like if somebody walked in here right now, like say Tim McGraw walked in here right now, I feel like I could sit down and we could really write something that would work. And like a few years ago, I feel like it would have taken me time and like days of ideas and studying, whereas now I feel like we can just, and I feel like that honestly with our tape room writers too. It's like if you need something, we can do it and we can do it now, which is something that's just grown with the, studying and practicing and loving the craft of songwriting.
And that's something I wanted to talk about too. Last time you were on, you were quietly in the back working on your next publishing deal, and you had kind of cued us in advance of where you were headed. And we have a great relationship with the tape room crew, and we love everybody over there. And to see you over there with that group and under Ashley and the team that he has built over there, from their actual staff to their staff writers, like what was that decision like to move over there with such a great group of people and just A+ humans? Nothing against where you were before, because you've had great success and everybody over there was awesome. But what was that step like?
It was interesting, and it was amazing too. So I did a joint venture deal with Warner and with Ashley, and did some business stuff with Warner, which was just amazing and such a great process. And my 2 point people are Benji, who goes by Benji Cord, who helps run Country Central, and Caroline Hodson, and obviously Blaine and Ashley. And my last deal at Major Bob was great. It was with a bunch of family, but towards the end of the deal, as we started to have success, it was very much like, okay, it felt like in a great way, because Major Bob was amazing, but at the time it was like I was kind of the guy, right? And so then moving over to Tape Room, all of a sudden now I'm like 6th on the roster, and all my buddies and my writers are all the biggest and the best writers in our format. I mean, Tape Room is like, obviously there's amazing songwriters everywhere else, some of my best friends, but like Tape Room is, I would say, that the most hit songwriters in one place, all together. And it was just such a blessing and such a cool thing and such a different environment. It's not competitive at all, but it's like, oh, I don't have a single right now. Everybody else on my team has a single. Like, I think something was just posted the other day. I was actually playing golf with Ashley when somebody posted it, and it was like, Tape Room Music has 16 songs on the charts right now, or like 16 songs in the top 35 or something, or top 40. And I was like, that is just crazy, dude. Because like in our business, to get a single, it's so hard. I mean, so hard. So for a one company and all of us to have 16, when you don't have one, it's not like you feel bad, but it makes you want to work harder. And that's something that I think is just invaluable.
And you have 2 now on the charts. And, you and I have talked about this because we nerd out about the charts, but, all you need is 3 more, and you might have a couple sitting at the top at the same time. You're on that TR track, like we talked about, where you could have 4 in the top or 5 in the top 10 at the same time.
Dude, I'm like,
which is unprecedented, by the way. I mean, that was insane.
I mean, my goal, to be totally honest, my goal this year, or just my next goal, was to have 2 singles at once. That was my goal. And I'm so, so, so happy that's happening. And I feel like I have 2 really other good shots right now. Like, there's the Dierks Bentley Miranda Lambert duet that I wrote that I think is an absolute smash. I don't know how that's going to work out with the Chris Stapleton Miranda song, but I think it's a smash. And then I have this Walker Hayes duet that comes out on Friday that he's been teasing. It's been going super viral. And if this song does what it does with the duet partner that it has, I think that song could just be massive too. And this Brailey Zimmerman song that just came out, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but it's my favorite on the record. And so in our business, obviously, and again, I'm so happy with just what I have right now, but like in our business, especially in Nashville, 3 singles, 3 number ones is our lucky number. That is the mountain climb that we're all trying, the mountaintop that we're all trying to climb. So like, if I could somehow get 1 more right now and all of these work out somehow, dude, I will be the happiest dude on this planet. Let me tell you that.
Does Ashley Gorley sit there and say 2 singles? That's cute.
No, dude. You know what's so funny is like he really doesn't because I mean, he didn't have his first hit until he had been in Nashville for 8 years. And
Wow.
then, you know, after that hit, or after he was a professional writer for 8 years. And then after he had his first hit, he had a year of drought. And then he had 5. So, like, he knows, like, how, even though he's the GOAT and has freaking 40, 50 more than anybody else does, he knows how hard it is just to get a single, you know, let alone more than that. And so that's one of the coolest things about him is no matter how successful he is or how many number ones he has, he still looks at the game like every hit, even that he gets, is impossible and was a blessing. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like one of my best friends in the whole world, Taylor Phillips, just got 10 number ones. And We'll Fix What You Didn't Break was his 10th. And when Ashley and I were golfing, he was just like, that is the coolest and hardest achievement to ever to get, and Taylor just did it. And then he was like, and you're next. And like, obviously in the background you're thinking, well, bro, you're about to have 90. But to get to 90, you have to have 10, and he knows how tough that is. And that's how many writers are there in this town with 10 number ones? Maybe 15? I mean, I don't know. Not a lot.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about like the current class, it may be 15.
Yeah. Yeah, in the
Maybe.
current class.
I mean, I can't even.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head who would be. I mean, Hardy would be probably the closest as a writer.
I can
to
literally
having
just think of
15.
Hardy and Taylor and Charlie and I literally can't. I think maybe
that's
Ben
it.
Johnson. I think maybe Ben Johnson
Yeah,
does.
Ben Hunter is probably at 10 at this
Hunter's
point.
right
Ben's
there.
probably
But
close.
dude, that's all I can name. That's 5 people.
And 2 of them are at Tape Room. So
Yeah, literally. Like, so it's just crazy.
So one song I have a strong feeling that will get to that spot. I don't want to say the word, but I think it's going to get to where we want it to go. It's your song with Megan Maroney and Kenny Chesney. Kind of tell us how that one came together, and were you trying to get Kenny on that song the entire time, or how did that all really come together?
This is one of my favorite stories and favorite songs. This song means the freaking world to me. And it was so cool because we were on, I think it was our last day of our beach trip with Micah Carpenter, Mackenzie Carpenter, me, and Megan in Panama City. And we had written a few songs already that you guys are going to hear. And we were like, what do we want to do today? We had to finish vocals on one other song. And then the other thing was Meg had just got off the road with Kenny. And she was like, I have to get Kenny an end of tour gift. And she probably got him some other stuff or whatever. I know they did some pranks, but she was like, I really want to do something sweet for him. And she was like, what if we wrote a song? And I was like, yes, please, can we write a song? And so we literally like talked about that the day before the last day. And then that morning we woke up and I was like, just in business mode, like not even business mode, just in like go get 'em mode on the last day. And I was like, okay, we need to finish the vocals on this song. We need to do this. And then we need to go write the Kenny song. Like I just like listed the things that we needed to do as if that was just a possibility, which is insane looking back on. And so we literally took 4 lawn chairs, a couple beers, of course, and went and sat these chairs on the beach, literally on the water. And we're like, what does this song sound like? And it can't be a love song. It can't be a breakup song. It has to just be a reminiscent song of this tour and her experience. And so pretty sure I started the song with just being like 5 girls in the mirror putting makeup on. Because I was just imagining girls going to a country concert. That was the first verse to me, was just summertime going to a concert. What does that look like? And the reason we did do that was because Meg went and saw him in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And that was a real moment for her and a lot of inspiration. And so that first verse is really about her going to see him in the nosebleeds. You know, like that's true. And you guys probably saw her and him up in the stadium where she sat. And so we sat there, we wrote the first verse and we wrote the chorus. And we were like, this really feels like just the truth of just, I see the lights, I hear the band. Like, what does that feel like? What is that? It's probably the truest song we've ever written. And then the second verse came, and we were like, well, what if we wrote him into this song? Like, what if it was a duet? How cool would it be if he didn't just sing the second verse like everybody does? What if we wrote him into it, like wove him into it? And I was like, that'd be so sick. So then we were just like, well, let's tell the truth again. And it was like 7 years later, got a different point of view. You know, got a sound check in 10 in my own dressing room, going around the world with the King of No Shoes. And that the King of No Shoes was the line, that was Micah's line, dude. And it was my favorite line. And we were like, is he going to like saying King of No Shoes in his own song or in our own song? Turns out he loved it. But then when we were like, well, what would he say if we're writing him into the song? And Meg was like, well, let me tell you guys the advice he would give me every night. And that was, uh, with the King of No Shoes singing, oh, this is the truth. This is what he would say to her. Can't tell you how fast time's going to fly by. Keep your heart on your sleeve and your chin held high was something he would like. That was the thing. Baby, hold on and don't let go. So we literally just used his advice that he would tell Meg on this tour as his part, because that's what he said to her. And then literally, you guys probably don't know this, and well, maybe, I don't know who knows this or not, but she went to his island with some friends right after that trip. I mean, we wrote that song like December 17th or December 18th, and she went to his island for New Year's, and she hand wrote the lyric and framed it, or didn't frame it, but gave that to him as a gift. And then they sat down and played it, and he loved the song. I was on the golf course with my father-in-law, and literally there was a video that popped up in our Jimmy James group chat, and it's Kenny Chesney's face. And I click on play, and it's like, guys, Megan just played me You Had to Be There and gave me the lyric, and I just freaking love this song. Thank you guys so much. This is the best gift anybody's ever given me. And I'm just like, just staring at the phone. And then Meg sent us a picture of them holding the lyric together and goes, we're going to record this song together. And dude, I was just like over the moon.
I got to know, how'd you play golf the rest of the day after that text message?
We had already finished, and I was already pretty sauced. So I was just full party mode, dude.
I was just curious if you bogeyed the rest of the way.
Oh, I would have not played another hole, dude.
As somebody who, because we're the same age, and coming up listening to those deep Kenny cuts like Keg in the Closet and stuff like that, and just phenomenal songwriting, knowing you were going to have a Kenny Chesney song, was that just like, that was the icing on the cake?
It was just the coolest thing ever. Like, I every day that I do this, I'm still so grateful and so humbled and so like, wow, I can't believe it worked. And so like when I hear, especially on the radio, Kenny singing the words that we wrote, it's just having the relationship that I have with Megan since day one, just trying to build a career. The fact that she's on the radio singing a song with Kenny Chesney is just like, it's so hard to fathom. It's not real, and it's all a dream at the same time. It's just the coolest thing.
So, you having two singles on the air at the same time, I want to get into a couple more of the things that you have out right now, including the new Brailey Zimmerman, and I want to dive into the new Landco single that you have as well. But is there a song or two right now that when you're listening for your things that you hear and you go, dang, I really wish I would have wrote that? Because there's always those lyrics in there, and there's those demos that float around town, or those things that are teased that it's like, man, I wish I would have wrote that. Is there something that really jumps out at you right now?
Not even because it was Taylor's, but just Fix What You Didn't Break, that melody, dude. And just every line of that. I love commercial hits. Like, that is my thing. Fix What You Didn't Break is a perfect love song to me. So that one just crushes me. I think that song is so perfect. Tranny, Andy Albert, Dallas, those are some of my best friends. I think Somewhere Over Laredo is a smash. Just
We
what
love Andy. Andy's
dude,
the best.
he's the so me and Tranny and Andy and Brad Clausen just wrote a couple songs together that are unreal. But yeah, Somewhere Over Laredo, Fix What You Didn't Break. I'm trying to think like as I go, like I specifically am thinking of like songs on the charts too. I think The Fall is so good, dude. Like Ray Fulcher's a good buddy. Like that song is just so good. I love The Fall. I don't know, dude. I love every song.
Now I know you write a lot with Avriana, and I feel
Yeah.
like she is kind of like Mackenzie Carpenter, underrated, on the rise. What can you tell us about Avriana and her writing style?
100%. I was also just thinking the car that drove you away on Hardy's EP is gangster, dude. Guy Fieri, shout out. But Avery is the best. So she just put out Let Go Letters that we did a lot on recently. And that's one of my favorite albums, even though I was such a big part of it. Like I listen back to that album all the time. It was so profound. And I think that's the way that Avery writes her songs, is that word. Like Avery's not sitting there trying to write a hit. Like I think the only song that we were really like, let's write something that feels like it could be a massive song was Lose You Again, that Parmalee jumped on, and Make It Look Easy. Those two songs were really like, let's see like if these could be smashes. I think they are. But then the Let Go Letters was the coolest thing ever, and the way we wrote that whole record, like Grave and Self Esteem for Sale and Cheerios, which is a song about a drunk dad falling asleep in his Cheerios. It's like the craziest concept ever. Was we sat down at a lake house in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and she had all of her Let Go letters that she brought from tour, and we read through them and we wrote about it and wanted just to connect real, honest, true, profound stories with the fans. And I think that's what Avery's artistry is. She's not out here to just go make a bunch of money or be a superstar or do a brand deal. She wants to write what she feels and what the truth is. She is a true artist. And that's what it feels like writing with her. Because you try to shape something, or, I try to shape something. I feel like I drive the room a lot. And with Avery, it's the way that I've learned over time, the best way to write with her is to really let her show you where to go and then help fill in the gaps.
And she's not afraid to write about tough things. She's not afraid to say the words that, commercially are not acceptable, or talk about things that people don't put in songs. What is that like, getting in a room with somebody who's so young,
Yeah.
but also is like an old soul and isn't afraid to write those like very grabby songs? It's like every time I listen to Avery, I think of a song like Red Rag Top, where like you couldn't say that on the radio now.
Yeah. I'll use this example because I'm honest enough to know it in myself. Like I didn't write Indigo. That's like, one of the songs that I'm not a part of in Avery's career. And I feel like if I was in the room that day, that I might have stomped on that idea for real. Because I feel like I could have been like, I just don't know how many people even know what that color is. Like, we're not even saying like, the lyric isn't totally spelled out. It's not like, radio hitty, and I honestly feel like if I was in that room that day, that song would not be what it is. And I know that enough to say it. And I think that song is a perfect example of Avery's songwriting, because she took such a cool, unique title and then just drove the crap out of the melody. And you can feel what she's trying to say more than what the lyric tries to say. Me as a songwriter, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. Out of 6 feet deep, I was 5. Like with Avery, it's almost unsaid, which is just the coolest thing ever.
We sit around during awards season and we specifically root to see you get up on stage,
Bro,
and win Song of the Year, because we just want, first of all, the video that would come from my house, we purposely set a phone up and wait for you to win. But are you thinking, as we get closer and closer to award season, if y'all get nominated and you get up there, Is Ben got something to say? Because trust me, the video that comes out of us is going to be just as good as you up there.
For sure, dude. Like CMAs for this year, I think they already have all the nominees. The only thing I'm up for, which I'm not even up for, is musical event, which is you had to be there, but it's like I'm not technically up for it. The only one I can be up for is Song of the Year. But next year, maybe 6 months will be in it. Hopefully it will be. And dude, you better know if we win, I am saying shit.
And we will be standing up screaming
for you. And if we ever get nominated for a Grammy, which I really hope with some stuff that we have coming, that we have a chance. But dude, if we win a Grammy, I'm probably gonna go viral, dude. I might get famous, honestly.
You just got to do the jelly roll. You got to be like, I was running cross country and I fell over and they didn't know where I went to school. And now I'm out here winning Grammys.
I ran
Just so you know, you can wake up every day and make it up and stand on this stage and have friends that play your songs on the radio. Believe in yourself.
I want your entire speech on a t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Or just something that says I became famous just from the Grammys or something like that.
Oh man.
I really need to do is whenever we hopefully get another nomination is I need to make a deal with a taqueria or some Mexican food is my favorite thing in the world. So I need to go to a taqueria on Nolensville Road or something and be like, guys, but not a famous place, a small place, and be like, guys, if I somehow drop your name in a CMA or something speech, free burritos for life.
Yeah, you just got to talk about Home Video Solutions. Remember Rufus from Home Video Solutions from Entourage?
Yes. That's what I need to do, honestly.
But you can't do one of our local spots out in Nashville because we can't tell people the local spots.
No.
Even though they're slowly starting to get there.
Oh, dude, there is this breakfast burrito in Denver I just had the other day. I literally think it's called Badass Breakfast Burritos.
Oh yeah, it's down here.
Oh, it was so good, dude. It's in a burger place that does breakfast burritos in the morning or whatever.
I went to a breakfast place this morning that was in a Breaks Plus. It was in the middle of Breaks Plus.
Yeah, dude, you guys having illegal Pete's in Tokyo Joe's in Costa Vida. You guys have the gas over there.
I won't say the places that I love, but there's a specific burger place that might be catty corner from Big Loud that is my spot in town. So
one just opened up in Green Hills by me too.
Ooh, even better. So you've got the new a song on the new Bailey Zimmerman record, and seeing somebody like that, and they kept a lot of those kind of tight to the vest for a while. I've been talking to people around town. Everybody's like, I might have a Bailey song. I don't know. I hear this, I hear that. Yeah. And to have that song then make the track listing, and it's one of my absolute favorites. And to be around songs like Holy Smokes, which I think is an absolute smash. What was that like to have another one of those massive artists on your catalog now?
That was a crazy song because we wrote that song Bailey's had that song for 2 years. He's literally had that song for 2 years. And I know for a long time and he mentioned this on the highway the other day too, but it was going to be the album title for 2 years. And halfway through the project, and halfway through, I mean, probably a year ago, I think I don't know this for sure, but it was just stuff that I heard. And Austin Sean, who produced it, is a good buddy of mine. But I heard they scrapped the whole record.
I was told the exact same thing, but a couple of songs.
Yep. And that was ours. And it just kind of kept sticking in there. And I would talk to Chief over at the Core and I'd be like, what's up with that song? And he'd be like, it's a smash. And then I was just like, all right, well, then it's still in the pile. And then I remember the first time he posted it, it was funny because I have the same Floribama sweatshirt that he posted in it. He was singing the song and posted on Instagram when he was working on new songs for the record. And it was the first thing he posted, on a slide. And I was like, dude, that was when I was like, oh, at least it's getting cut. And then when I heard it for the first time, that was a totally different ballgame because I was like, I don't know what the cut's going to sound like. I don't know if it's going to sound like a smash or not. And then when I heard it, I was legitimately blown away. His voice.
He's one of my favorite producers right now.
His voice, the production, the way that song flows. I'll tell you one thing about it that they did change, which I don't care, but I'm just happy they cut it, was In the first verse, it was a sick line. It was like, I remember when it was 45 outside, but inside we were fogging up the windows. I remember when it was summertime rolling down, your brown hair getting back road windblown. And I thought this line was so sick. It was, I remember when it was I started loving you, the day you played me some George Jones, sharing headphones. And I was like, that's so dope to say I started loving you, because it was he stopped loving her. And then they flipped it to just I started loving you the day you played me your favorite song, sharing headphones. And I was like, bro. But then listening back, I'm like, that's honestly way hittier and simpler anyways.
So I just got to know, like, from a songwriter standpoint, maybe the community you guys are in, you see all these artists doing these big double albums, 30 plus songs for Morgan. I think Cody Johnson kind of did 30 plus. Luckily, Brailey only did like 18.
Right.
But how do you feel like, yeah, maybe you get an artist that does 30 songs and you get a cut on that album? Is it like, I don't care, I'm good to go? Or is it more of like, that's awesome, but there's 30 deep in this thing?
It's interesting because I haven't, and I really haven't aimed for it, to be honest, either, though. Not saying that I would if I did, but I haven't had a Morgan or a Cody one. But like a Morgan cut is, even if it's 35 songs, is still so valuable, just because he is the biggest artist in the world and they stream like crazy. And like, as a songwriter, no one really complains about that. Because if anything, it's like you have a better chance of getting a Morgan cut anyways. And just adding a Morgan cut to your catalog is awesome. I don't know enough to speak on Cody doing 30 songs, but all I know is I'd still be stoked with a Cody song. Mm-hmm. And even 18, even 12, dude, it's like, our business is still all about radio singles. So like with a Morgan song, I feel like just getting a Morgan cut adds enough value to your catalog. Plus the streaming's pretty good on Morgan that you're just happy. But like Brailey, obviously, I'm so stoked to even be a part of the record. But being one of 18, you still like, you're happy. You're always happy to be on a record. That is the goal. To try to be on everybody's record, I think, is the goal. You can't try to get everybody's single. You just have to try to be on everybody's record. But like, that is always the goal. Even with this Dirk song, like, dude, having a Dirks Bentley Miranda Lambert duet, you can't get that. So I'm so happy to have that. It's the coolest thing ever. But if I'm being totally transparent, a little bit of me is like, but if it's not the single, which is crazy because you have to be happy about the wins. But that's just part of the crazy brain of a songwriter. Is like, trust me, I will forever be like, I wrote a Dirks Bentley and Miranda Lambert duet. But there's the half of your brain that's like, is it the single? So, but I would still be stoked to be on a massive double album. I think the biggest artists are doing the double albums because they know that they're going to stream really well and they're going to do all the things.
How do you still have that hunger after you get that first number one?
Yeah.
Do you still have that same hunger to get another number one and keep going? Or do you kind of get to a point like, okay, box checked, I got the first number one, now let's reset and let's keep going?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like, it's just the songs. Like, I just love writing songs. And am I writing less songs? Yeah, I'm definitely writing less songs. But like, I still just love writing songs. And even being around Taylor, like, I'm around Taylor a lot. And Taylor getting 10, like, Taylor, it just makes me want 10 so bad. And hearing my song on the radio just makes me want another song on the radio. Like, if these two songs go or another one goes, like, that'll be like 4 hits for me so far. And that number is even insane. And I still love the craft of writing songs. And I think that the moment that I won't be hungry anymore is if I just don't love the craft of songwriting anymore. And that, like, even I was writing with Hannah McFarland today. And Hannah's awesome. And like, that's also one of the things that I think that I love just as much as writing songs is shaping an artist's sound or their career. Like, I'm sitting with her today and I don't know if the song's going to be big or not, but like, what if she has to play that song for the rest of her life? Like, when we wrote Tennessee Orange, I didn't know that I'd be playing golf with some dude in the Bahamas, and then I get introduced by somebody else as this is the dude who wrote Tennessee. Like, you just never know what can come from it, and I think that keeps you just as much hungry as loving writing songs is loving what a song can do too, or what it can do to a fan. Like Meg's fans, like you probably know some young girls who are Megan's fans. Like, her music is their whole world. Yeah, did we have the best time writing those songs? For sure. But now being able to watch it really impact people's lives is so cool. Like that keeps me hungry too.
There's something to say about the stuff that you're doing with Meg that I don't think a lot of people realize, that Christian Bush from Sugarland produces Meg. And I listened to an interview with Christian Bush a long time ago, and he said that there are specific things he does in his production for the radio. And he's the only producer I've ever heard say that he messes with the compression specifically because he wants to hear it the same way from the studio as it sounds on the radio. Yeah. But what is it like to have a legend who has, Baby Girl is one of those songs that like he will play no matter if he's with Jennifer Ellis or not in every round for the rest of his life. What is that like to work with him and be around him as somebody who is starting to hit that big stride like they had?
Right. I'll tell you this, and this is the coolest thing about Christian to me. And Christian has been nothing but great to our entire camp. He's just so hardworking, so talented, and he's such a great guy. But he told Meg early on, if I'm not mistaken, I remember, but this was 5 years ago, when we started writing Hair Salon and Keep the Flowers, and He Made Me Do It, and I'm Not Pretty, and Mustang or Me, and Lucky, Trader Joe, all of that time of the era of songs when it started to work. Christian said, don't change anything. Don't change your circle of writers. Don't change what you're doing. Don't change the way that you write songs. And Meg and I even wrote with him one time. And I think Christian, and I don't remember if this is correct, so you can't quote me on it, but like, I think Christian was like, you know what? She has her way of songwriting figured out. It's not something that I even need to be a part of with this artist. I'm going to produce these songs and let her figure out her writing. And to me as a producer, to give that advice, especially since my life has been so directly impacted by remaining in that camp, and, obviously she's my friend, but just remaining writing songs with her, that advice coming from Christian is the coolest thing ever to me. And like, I'm so thankful for him, obviously because he produces amazing songs, but because he told her that. And that she listened. I think that's amazing.
Man, it's always fun to chat. We could do this for hours on end. We do it all the time. You and I nerd out about the charts. We are such big fans of you, and we appreciate the time that you take to hang out with us. And I hope that our new podcast home here at KYGO gets a chance to, hear the stories straight from the horse's mouth when it comes to some of their favorite songs. And that's what this show is supposed to be. We're going to have a ton of new listeners specifically now that we are over here at KYGO, and we're excited to share you with them. Man, thank you as always.
Oh, guys, I'm just thankful to have you as friends, but also just to be on the podcast and the 100th episode, and for you guys to care about all of it more than just your jobs is the coolest thing ever. So likewise, and thank you to you too.
That was episode 100 with our friend Ben Williams. Man, Ben, thanks again. And I know that you'll be back again, probably 125, 130. We're rooting for you. Let's do it again. We'll see you in a couple months. We can't wait to see you. And when you hit Song of the Year, we may not even have to shoot it from the living room. We might just have to come out and just be in the nosebleeds screaming. You'll just hear us from the 300s.
And you'll be staying with me too.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's good to see you. And thank you again for being guest 100 on the Hook Podcast. My name is Brailey. That's Kevin Kissner. We'll see you next week.